Good morning, world. Black Crow walking here. I'm alive, alert, awake, and joyous, and enthusiastic about life today. And welcome to the reading of A Course of Love by Perron. Today we're reading the introduction, and we're up to chapter 1, verse 3. The mind will speak of love, and yet hold the heart prisoner to its rules, new laws, and still say, this is right and this is wrong. It will speak of love and not see its intolerance or judgment. It will speak of love to be helpful and with all sincerity. And yet the very logic that it uses, though new, wounds the heart of the most tender, of the most called to love, and its sweetness. I am wrong to feel the way I do, the tender-hearted say to herself, and convinced that another knows what she does not, covers over her tenderness with protection. You think that in order to share you must be able to speak the same language, and so you regress to the language of the mind with its precision. The mind so hates to be confused, to be open, to remain open, and to not know. It desires anchors to hold it in one spot, and held there suffers the pounding of the sea of change, resists the current, fortifies itself against the storm. The mind will return always to where it feels safe and sure of itself, and so it goes nowhere and sees not transformation or creation or the new horizon that would defy its reality. At the moment, we're just taking it 2 verses at a time because I think it's enough. There's a lot in there. And so let's have a look at it. The mind will speak of love and yet hold the heart prisoner to its new rules, new laws, and still say this is right and this is wrong. Well, I don't know about you, but I've been conditioned since birth. Programmed, in fact. Patterned, in fact. To judge, have an opinion, and perceive. To evaluate instead of observation. And the most powerful place to be, as this says later on, is to sit in observation. And the mind hates that. The mind wants to be busy. It wants to carry on. It wants to work things out and understand things. It's a natural thing. And we've been taught, you must learn. You must learn. You learn to walk. You learn to eat your food with a knife and fork. You learn to run. You learn to learn. It's a big pressure. So, even though the mind speaks of love, it doesn't know how to do it because it puts all these conditions on life. You're right or you're wrong. This is superior thinking. And we don't understand that the whole of our system has been based on superiority and inferiority. Hierarchy. Who's better than who? Oh, it's my job to educate you. No, it's not. It's not your job. It's not my job. All it creates is a disconnect, just as saying to someone you're wrong or you're right. What if we were to say that's an interesting perspective? If we opened to the interesting perspectives, we allow ourselves and others to transform. It will speak of love to be helpful. Oh, how often are we told to be helpful? I'd really like you to be helpful right now. I remember one day I was I was in the kitchen, and a friend of mine, oh, a boyfriend actually, was reading the paper, and I couldn't understand why he was reading the paper and not being helpful. Oh man, we are we are so programmed. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. Mm. It will speak of love to be helpful and with all sincerity, and yet the very logic that it uses, though new, wounds the heart of the most tender. Are you tender in your heart? I am. Of those most called to love and its sweetness, it wounds the heart. Have you ever wounded the heart of a child in its innocence and sweetness, playing in mud puddles, getting their Sunday dress all dirty? Have you wounded their heart by saying this is right or this is wrong? Oh dear. We have so many rules and laws, don't we? I am wrong to feel the way I do, the tender-hearted says to herself, and convinced that another knows what she does not, covers over her tenderness with protection. How many of us have put up walls to protect ourselves? And what are we protecting ourselves from? We're protecting ourselves from the mind of another. Do you want to get out of your mind today? I do. Gosh, if it's going to be like that, I don't want anything to do with it. The question I've got at the moment for this book is it the mind or is it the thoughts in the mind? Is the mind useful? I know the thoughts aren't. the thoughts just keep going like a train right through your head. And they just come from everywhere. Sometimes I think things that I don't even know where it came from because I would never think that. So my question is that, is it the mind or is it the thoughts in the mind? You think that in order to share, you must be able to speak the same language. And so you regress to the language of the mind with its precision. I'm going to read that again because I didn't quite get it. But mind you, I'm not trying to understand it. I'm letting myself be confused in this moment. And it's okay to be confused. I think that in order to share, you must be able to speak the same language. And so you regress to the language of the mind with its precision. For me, I don't think I want to speak the same language as other people. Some of it wounds me, that tender heart. So I get quieter and quieter often in conversation, and I just let the other person talk. because I would be constantly trying to defend or explain or educate, and it's not my job for other people. So I become quieter, and I sit and observe, and I create a space for the other person to be heard and seen. But there's an aspect of me that holds back and protects myself against the conversations of this world, especially the fear-based ones. The mind so hates to be confused, to be open, to remain open, and to not know. The mind is so invested in knowing. What if you could let that go? What if you could just not know? How good would that be? If you could just rest in not knowing. I don't know. Kind of feels like you don't care. And how good is that? It's less stressful. If you care about knowing all the time, you've always got to be hunting for the next piece of information. Why would you do that? It's a full-time job. All right. It desires anchors to hold it in one spot, and held there suffers the pounding of the sea of change, resists the currents, fortifies itself against the storm. I think that looks like the rut, don't you? If we're in a rut, we're going to resist any change. The mind will return always to where it feels safe and sure of itself, and so it goes nowhere and sees not transformation or creation or the new horizon that would defy its reality. Yep, that's definitely the rut. This is what I know, and I'm not changing from here. It's lovely, isn't it? It's lovely to explore these things. So today we've looked at the mind being superior. And even though it doesn't use the words superior, it does bring in the concept of what's right or what's wrong. I know better. This is what I know. I'm not changing. I'm not transforming. I'm not open. So if that is what the mind wants to do, I'm not playing with my mind today. I'm getting out of its way. And I'm just going to let it sit there in the background and not really take too much notice of it. It can be like that train passing through in the background way over there. And I'll be aware that it's thinking. I'll be aware that it's thinking, but I'm not going to take any notice of it today, because I'm alive, alert, awake and joyous and enthusiastic about life. Life flows through my veins, flows through my cells, flows through my muscles. And this is a beautiful song that was taught to me by a wonderful woman called Innie. And it's been a mainstay in my life to awaken in the morning and know that the birds are singing and crow is up and ready to bounce into the day. I hope you all have the best delicious day today, and that you manifest your joy in whatever way you want to play. May you be blessed until tomorrow we meet again. Bye for now.